Have you ever sat quietly just watching the clock tick? 1 second, another, and another. It seems so real, so definite, like time is this unstoppable train that drags us from moment to moment, whether we like it or not. But what if I told you that train doesn't exist, that the tracks it runs on are imaginary, that the ticking sound you hear is just an illusion made by a clever little machine, and what we call time, past, present, future, is not how the universe actually works at all. We've been living inside a story, and like most good stories, it's so convincing, we forgot it was fiction. You see, we've been trained to think of time as something linear, like a string pulled tight, the past behind us, the future ahead, and the present being this tiny dot moving steadily forward. It's how we organize our lives. It's why we celebrate birthdays, why we schedule meetings, why we cry over lost youth and panic about growing old. But here's the strange part. The deeper science goes, the less this version of time holds up. Let's start with a simple but strange idea. Time moves differently for different people, not in a poetic way, literally. In 1905, Albert Einstein introduced his theory of special relativity, and with it came a concept that shattered everything we thought we knew. Time is not absolute. It changes depending on how fast you're moving and how close you are to gravity. If you and I were twins and I went on a journey through space at close to the speed of light, while you stayed on Earth, I would come back younger than you. Not just feeling younger, I would be younger. This isn't science fiction, this is science fact, and it's been proven. In 1971, physicists actually tested this by putting super precise atomic clocks on airplanes and flying them around the world. When they compared them to the clocks that stayed on the ground, they were out of sync. Not by much, but exactly by the amount Einstein's theory predicted. Time had literally passed slower on the planes. We think of seconds as fixed, but they stretch and shrink depending on where you are, how fast you're going, and what you're near. Even your phone, that GPS you use to find the nearest cafe, depends on time running differently in satellites than it does for you. Those satellites are moving fast and orbiting Earth farther from gravity's pull. Their clocks tick slightly faster than yours, and engineers have to correct for this time difference constantly, or else your directions would lead you miles off course. Without Einstein, Google Maps would be useless. But this is just the beginning, because if time is not constant, then what is it? Let me offer a thought that might sound crazy at first. The past, present, and future all exist at once, not metaphorically, literally. This is what physicists call the block universe theory. Imagine the universe like a giant loaf of bread. Each slice is a moment in time. What we experience as now is just the slice we happen to be in, but all the other slices are still there, the ones we call past and the ones we call future. From this perspective, everything exists simultaneously. Every breath you've taken, every sunset you'll ever watch, they're all still there, already there. You just haven't experienced some of those slices yet, but they're no less real than the one you're in now. This sounds strange to us because we live in a body, in a brain, that tells stories in sequence. Our minds are built to experience the world one frame at a time, like a movie, and we mistake the motion of the frames for something flowing through us. But the film is already written. The ending already exists. We're just watching it unfold second by second, believing we're writing it as we go. So when you say things like, "I wish I could go back in time," physics says, you're still there. Somewhere in the loaf, that version of you still exists. Laughing, crying, falling in love, losing, winning. It's all still real. But your consciousness is here now, in this slice. And this leads us to the strangest truth of all. There is no universal now. Think about it. If time moves differently for different observers, then what's happening right now for you might not be happening right now for someone else in a different part of the universe moving at a different speed. Your now is not my now. Your present is not my present. There is no master clock ticking above us all. No single timeline we're all marching down. We each experience a unique personal version of time, shaped by where we are and how we're moving. That's not just poetic. It's provable. But let's step out of physics for a second. Let's talk about you. Have you ever had a moment where time seemed to disappear? Maybe you were deeply focused. Maybe you were in love. Maybe you were watching the sun rise after a sleepless night, and the world felt still, like it was holding its breath. In those moments, you weren't measuring seconds. You were experiencing something eternal, something that didn't fit into minutes and hours. That's the truth underneath the illusion. Time is not something we pass through. It's something we create. The human brain constructs the idea of time as a way to understand change. It strings together events so that life feels like a story. But just like any story, it's told by someone, and that someone is you. Your memories are not perfect recordings of the past. They're reconstructions. Each time you remember something, you change it slightly. You rewrite it. You retell it. And eventually, you believe the new version more than the original. Your imagination of the future, it's built from fragments of the past, hopes, fears, borrowed images from TV shows and conversations. We're constantly editing time, not because we're wrong, but because time is not fixed. It's fluid. It's a psychological experience, not a physical entity. But we don't treat it that way. We treat it like a currency, like a race, like something we can waste to run out of. And in doing so, we trap ourselves. We say things like, I'm behind in life. I'm running out of time. I should have done more by now. But ask yourself this: behind compared to who? According to what clock? There's no universal timeline for success. No cosmic schedule you're supposed to follow. That's an invention of society, not the universe. Nature doesn't rush. The stars don't care about deadlines. Trees don't hurry to bloom. They grow when they're ready. So why do you think you're late? Let me tell you a short story. There's a woman named Asha. At 35, she quit her job, left a relationship, started over. Everyone said she was crazy. Too late, they said. Time's passed you by. But Asha didn't believe in that clock anymore. She listened to something deeper, the rhythm inside her. And slowly, a new life unfolded. By 40, she had built something beautiful, a life that felt like hers, not because she beat the clock, but because she finally stopped chasing it. You see, once you realize time is an illusion, you begin to live differently. You stop counting seconds and start noticing moments. You stop fearing the future and start feeling the present. You stop comparing your path to others and start trusting your own pace. This is the secret. You are not running out of time. You are running into yourself. And in that discovery, time becomes irrelevant. Because the truth is, you are timeless. You are not a number on a calendar. You are not your age, or your resume, or your past mistakes. You are a consciousness, moving through a story that your mind is writing in a universe that exists all at once. And once you understand this, you begin to live with a kind of quiet power, a stillness that doesn't need to rush. You begin to see life not as a race, but as a dance, a conversation, a breath. You stop saying, "What time is it?" and start asking, "What do I feel right now?" You stop fearing the end because you realize the end has already happened, and so has the beginning, and so has everything in between. And you are simply experiencing one beautiful slice of the eternal right now. So the next time someone asks you what time it is, just smile, because you know something most people don't. Time doesn't exist, but you do, and that's all that matters. If this shifted something in you, don't scroll away. Subscribe, because we're just getting started. Like the video so it reaches someone else waking up, and tell me in the comments, what if time really never existed?